Well, hey there. How you doing? Dave Fennoy here. Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. Pacific, and we are here together again for another Ask Dave Fennoy Anything. And want to say hello to you if you are on Facebook Live, if you are on LinkedIn, Twitter, or X. I just call it Twitter X now, or YouTube. And of course, all previous Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. Please like and subscribe. Also, if you are interested in VO coaching with me, just visit davefennoy.com, click on the Study VO tab at the top, and you can book yourself. All right, and Twitter is Dave Fennoy, at Dave Fennoy VO. I'm going to just jump right in now. We have a wonderful guest who I've known but not known for a long time, if you know what I mean. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Trekina White. And there she is. There she is. How are
Somebody push me. I'm on Dave Fennoy's show.
Yeah, and beforehand I was saying, you need more light, you need more light. Now, it's not perfect, but it's so
Yeah.
much better than, and I think your beauty from inside and outside is just radiating. So it makes it all
You.
just work. So how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderfully. Fantastic. That's a good word. How can I top that? I'm fantastic too. I'll just leave it at that. Now, we were talking beforehand, and you mentioned you knew I had dogs and pit bulls,
Yeah.
and you had a pit bull in the family that isn't with you anymore.
I know his name was Trouble, and he lived up to his name for 30 years. You know, they are our fur babies, and he was a part of the family since he was 8 weeks old. And I literally had to say goodbye to him last Wednesday, and it was just heartbreaking. It's actually the first time I've been able to talk about it without crying all over the
Yeah,
place. But
yeah,
oh my gosh, loved him. And pit bulls get such a bad rep.
they do.
They do. They really do. He loved kids, loved family, fierce protector, but would just cuddle and want all that love and follow me all over the place. And I always said he was the best thing I never knew I needed.
Oh, there. And this was your first dog?
My first dog, my very
Oh,
first dog, but and he lived to be the ripe old age, a lucky 13. And he will definitely be missed. So loved my baby.
well, I've got two. One named Clementine, named after the character from the Walking Dead game.
Mhm.
She's 14 now, and
14.
she's moving slow. But Thursdays are her day because the trash trucks come, the mail person comes, and they got uh, regular trash, they've got the garbage, and they've got the green waste. So she gets
Mhm.
to run along the fence, barking at three trucks, along with our other pit bull, Sultan.
Oh, how funny. Well, with us, we had all these cats. There's a lot of feral cats in the backyard, and the cats would be chasing the birds, and Trouble would be chasing the cats. And it was just like Wild Kingdom in the backyard all the time. I was like racing him like he was like, I thought I saw a putty tat.
Yeah,
I did.
yeah. Quiet as it's kept here in LA. I live in Glendale, which is a closed-in suburb, but there's a lot of nature here, and we have skunks, we have bears, we have bobcats, mountain lions
Bears.
from time to yeah, bears. Um, they don't do anything but want to get in your trash, maybe, or your hot tub.
Okay, bears in the hot tub, Dave.
Yeah, they do it. They do it. They do it. It's crazy. But anyway, let's talk voiceover here, and let's talk Trekina White and your story. Um,
Uh-huh.
Looking at your client list, PBS Kids, Google, Netflix, Apple, Best Buy, McDonald's, and I know that's not all of it, but
Mhm.
how did you get here and where did you start? What were you doing before you did voiceover?
Um, you know, my parents both worked for the post office.
Mm.
When I grew up, I thought all Black folks worked at the post office because
Well,
that's
a
all
lot of us do.
they'd be like, "Can you get that post office test for us?" I thought that's all that they did. So my parents were very much into you got to get that good job with them good benefits. You got to stay loyal to that employer for 35 plus years and then you'll get your pension and all that good stuff. So that was just ingrained into me since I was a little girl. So that's what I did. Went to school, started going to college, thought I wanted to be a nurse. Then I found out that they had to do a lot of math, and math is not ministry.
Not to mention all the blood.
Not to mention all the blood. And, I thought I wanted to be a pediatric nurse, but then I would see these kids come in that had been
Mm.
abused or, what have you. And I'm supposed to be comforting them and I'm crying right next to them. And I'm like, okay, I am not going to be a good nurse. But I was always told I had the gift of gab. So I said, okay, I'm going to go in communications. I thought I wanted to be an anchor woman, right?
Mm.
Um, but same thing, very empathetic. So if I would hear a sad story, I'd be on there like, oh, and then the mama and the babies didn't make it. So that went into radio for a while. And I started interning for someone you may know named Doug Lee.
Oh, Doug Lee, we used to work together at KSOL.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
love Doug. He's such a good guy.
Oh, he is amazing. And I'm sure if he was watching, he'd be like, say hello to Ocean, he used to tell me.
Yeah, working on KSOL and KDIA under the name Billy David Ocean. And there
Yes.
are a lot of people that I know, and they know I haven't used that name in years, but if they're from the Bay Area, they'll, Billy, what's up, Billy? And oh, okay, well, I'll respect that and I'll answer to you, but
He used to say that all the time when he found out I first got in a voiceover. Say hello to Ocean, and he would cry. Yeah, I started interning at the radio station, really liked it, but discovered that it wasn't for me. I felt like the radio industry at that time was pretty cutthroat and you had to stay on top. And if you weren't, then you could be here one day and gone the next day. So I worked for AT&T. And T.
Mhm. Oh, wait,
And
a
then
little word to the wise on radio. It was always cutthroat.
was it?
Yeah, cutthroat in radio is nothing new. Sometimes you're scared to go on vacation because you weren't sure you're going to have a job when you got back.
See,
We, we,
that's a
had, we had an old saying, if you have never been fired in radio, you really haven't been in radio.
And that's the truth because that's what I discovered when I was at the radio station. I was like, he was just here yesterday. What happened?
So let's
But
see. So nursing, radio, maybe on air. What brought you to voiceover? What was the thing that put it in front of you and you went, oh, let me try that?
I have been working at the Section 8 office. The Section 8 office was very interesting. A lot of fodder for a lot of characters there.
Okay,
Uh,
for those who don't know, um, we know Section 8 is helps people without a lot of money pay for their rent.
yes.
So
And
if you are below a certain level in income, you can get a Section 8 home, and landlords often like Section 8 because it's guaranteed that they're going to
mhm.
get their money. And then people who don't have a lot of money are like Section 8 because they get some help paying their rent. So you're working for Section 8.
I'm working for the Section 8 office. And I just started feeling like when I first got there, I was like, when I put my head on the pillow at night, I felt like I was helping people. I was helping a lot of low income families find housing. And, my mama used to always say, we all just one paycheck away from the po house. So it was validating, I think, because there wasn't any Black women who were in the position that were helping them. And so a lot of my people in my community felt validated when they saw me being their worker. They felt like they could be seen and heard and treated with integrity. And that's what I brought to the office, and was proud of that. But after a while, it started to feel like, this isn't the place for me. And you know how you start to feel like, I might not be welcome here anymore. Things start to get harder to come into work every day. The environment started becoming a little bit more toxic. And I felt like, it might be time for me to move on. My kids are older now, so they don't need me in the same way that they used to need me before.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to start discovering things that I like, that bring me joy. And growing up, I always mimicked cartoons and I always mimicked commercials. And I was like, I don't know why I do that, but and my mom would say, girl, you just as silly can be. You are so silly. And I said, well, how can I use this silliness for good? Found out about voiceover. And
How'd you
that's
find
what,
out? What first introduced it to you?
well, I started looking up, Googling who does commercials and how do you get into that? Who does those voices in
Cartoon
animation?
animation.
Bunny, yeah, the Bugs Bunny and the Foghorn Leghorn, which was my daddy's favorite character.
I say, boy.
Yeah, he'd be like, I say, boy, I say. Loved them. So
I used
how
to,
do you do that? Started looking it up, and I was like, wow, there's a career in this. Then one of my best friends, who is an entertainer, his name is Armand Newton. We're from the same place, went to high school together. Was like, have you ever heard of Voice 2014?
hmm.
That's how long ago I was doing it, and it was in Anaheim that year.
Oh,
And Voice 2014. So I went and you were there. And oh my gosh, who else was there? Oh, I can't think of his name. The Zatarans man.
uh, I'm not sure. Let's. Oh.
Zatarans, you know.
I probably do. It's just not coming to my head right now. Zatter. I can see his face.
I know. I can see his face
Can't
too.
think
And
of
he
his
did
name.
on camera work too. And
Yeah,
I cannot think of his
I've
name,
seen
but
him recently on camera, and people used to confuse us.
did they
Often,
really?
I haven't talked to him in a long time, but we used to talk all the time, and the call would be, "Yo, man, so people have been congratulating me for that job you did." So they've been congratulating me for your work as well.
Well, at the time, you two were the main coaches for Black men at the time.
Yeah,
So, both, God, why can't I remember his name? Somebody put it in the comments, please, 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 please. And I know
Rodney
it was,
Salisbury.
thank you,
Thank
Rodney
you.
Salisbury. No disrespect. We
No
love you,
disrespect.
Rodney.
Rodney's one of the best that ever did it and got away with it. So
Yes, absolutely. So, but you guys were all there, and I met all of these incredible people. That was my very, very first conference, and I was on fire. I came back and realized, okay, I need to get training and coaching, and I need to get a demo reel, and I need to this and that. And I'm so much of a leap before I look type of person. So
mhm.
I was so on fire. And as soon as I had got my very first reel, I just started sending it out to people.
So
And
wait, whoa, whoa. How quickly did you get your reel? Who did you work with?
I worked with somebody. His name was Craig Spear, and he was in San Francisco. That
Okay.
was my very first reel. He was so kind that on my lunch breaks, I would go and coach with him because he was like, you're not ready for a reel right now, but I will help you do it. So he would send me copy, and I would listen to commercials. Don't fast forward them commercials. You better listen to them commercials if you want to do commercials. And I love telling you a story with an arc in 60 seconds or less. So he would coach me on my lunch breaks. And then I coached with him for maybe 1 or 2 months before he said, okay, you're ready. That was my very first.
Only 1 or 2 months.
It was only 1 or 2 months, and it was
It-
probably because I was doing so much other stuff. I was going to the school of YouTube. I was going to YouTube University.
I'll
I
tell you
was
what
listening.
else you. I tell you what else you did as a kid. you were imitating the things you heard on television and on the radio.
Yeah.
So you didn't know it, but you were developing yourself as a voice actor even then.
You're absolutely right. And I had no idea. But so working with him, and then fast forward now, who did my commercial demo that's out there right now, Mr. Jordan Reynolds.
Oh,
So
okay. You can't get Jordan right now.
I'm telling you, he's
He's
a hot
been too
commodity.
busy. I've reached out to him from time to time. Hey, I got somebody that need a commercial. I don't do commercial demos, and he said, "Man, I'm just not doing them now. I'm just too busy." I said, "Well, good for you. Good
And
for
you
you."
know what? It's a shame because one of the things that I loved about working with Jordan is he wanted to get to know you so he could put together the best demo for you. So
Yeah.
he would ask you these questions. He would ask you to send him maybe a 30-second bio of yourself, just you talking. And lo and behold, some of that stuff that I was just talking about wound up on my demo reel.
I'm going to say this. I'm glad you brought that up because there are places that are demo mills that
Mhm.
they're not going to ask you who you are, what you're interested in. They're not going to take the time to really find out who you show up to the world as.
Yeah.
You want somebody that's going to take that time and craft those scripts for you. So, thumbs up, Jordan Reynolds. And Jordan, if anybody knows him, and you can tell him if he ever starts doing the demos again, let me know so I can recommend him.
Absolutely. And it's so funny because when I was talking in the beginning of it, I said, look, I'm starting this older. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my 30s when I'm starting this. So I got a mortgage and stretch marks and I ain't got time to play. And why was that the very first thing that's on my commercial demo? If you listen to my commercial demo, it literally says, I got a
I
mortgage and stretch.
love it.
I ain't got time to play.
I love it. I love it. Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, that was what, 2014, 2015?
Actually working with Jordan, he did my working demo that I have not had to redo because it's so good and still relevant. I think we did that in 2019.
Oh, 20.
And yeah, I got to work with more. But 2014 was when I went to my very first conference and fell in love with it, and was working with Craig Spear. And then I started sending it out to all of the local agents. And 6 months later, Stars responded and they were like, hey, if you're looking for representation, we would love to represent you. Stars was my very first agency, local in San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
and we still rocking and rolling to this day. I absolutely love Stars.
Stars is one of my agents as well.
Yeah, they take such good care of you.
They do. They're a great agency, and we're living in a world now where you want to have multiple agencies in multiple places.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm talking to people about where they should look, I go on San Francisco. You want to go to Stars.
Yep.
Now, did you apply at Look?
I applied at Look. I applied at oh my gosh, I'm not even going to remember
Did you
because it
did
was.
you send one to Joan Spangler?
I don't think so.
You
No.
might not. She may have been retired by now, but
Mm.
that was my first agent up in San Francisco, Joan Spangler. And well, I'll tell that story another day. So, what's the first thing you booked?
What is the very first thing I booked? When I first started coaching, and I was coaching with GVAA, those group workouts were amazing because I didn't have no money. Like I said, I had a mortgage I had to take care of and I had mouths I had to feed. So I was doing a lot of group workshops and
Mm-hmm.
I was doing things on Voice 123.
Okay.
Voice 123 was a blessing and a curse because they would send me so much stuff, but I was still working a full-time job.
Yeah. So you
So
couldn't get to it until you got home from work.
I couldn't get to it until I got home. I was maybe averaging 4 hours of sleep a night because I was working all day. I was coming home and helping with homework and dinner and all that type of stuff. And then I have girls and they got a lot of hair. So I was was doing all that hair and I was doing all that stuff. And then I was getting to my thing, but I started booking things for it was the AT&T Football Classic
Hmm.
at the time, and I just started booking a bunch of stuff with Voice 123. But it became such a good training ground for me because I had to hurry up and get auditions in. I had to try and learn to be authentic to the copy. I had to learn how to edit the copy and start editing it faster. It was really, really good. And then on top of that, going to GVAA, shout out to Christina Malizia and the Davids over there at GVAA, and doing workshops. As you know, workshops are so beneficial because they're less money than the one-on-ones, and you learn so much from all of the people that are around you.
You get to learn from their successes and their challenges without
Yeah.
being under the gun of, gee, I want to sound good. And how come I'm messing this up? Without having that going on in your head, you're watching and listening to somebody else and hearing those instructions that sometimes you don't hear when the coach is talking directly to you.
Not only that, I saw that there was more than one way to interpret the copy because I would have my way of what I thought, and then somebody else would read the same copy, and I'd be like, I didn't even think to do it like that. And so it was amazing. And I also went to Voice One, and you used to come to Voice One. Mary Lynn Wisner, Everett Oliver, so many people would
Like
come to
all my
Voice One.
buddies in there.
Yeah, and they used to call it the LA connection because you guys were coming down, coming from LA to the Bay Area to help us. So they would call it the LA connection, and you guys would come down. I did workout groups with Malik Berger. So all of that, all of that went into my wheelhouse and helped me so much. So if you need to do some coaching and training, please get into some workshops or do the Gravy for the Brains or the GVAAs and get on those memberships because they are affordable and the training is just invaluable.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So listen, you were talking about Voices 123 and
Mhm.
your audition. So by this time, you've gotten your home studio together. What's your home studio look like? What did it look like then? What does it look like now?
I was in the closet, baby. And did not have a problem being in the closet. And it's so funny because people would be like, "Oh, you sound so good. You must have excellent soundproofing and acoustic panels." Why, yes, I do. They didn't need to know that I was next to my winter coats and my sweaters and my and my everything.
Closet with
Yeah,
clothes in it. Great place for a studio.
so good. I had went to Guitar Center.
Hmm.
And I had a certain budget at the time. So they laid out mics for me from $300 to $1,500. Now I still
Whoa, whoa,
try.
whoa, wait! Before you did you just go there and ask them, or did you get some advice from voiceover coaches about what mics to use?
I went there and asked them. Well, actually, no, let me back that up. I did get some advice from voiceover coaches that I should go to Guitar Center, test out some different mics, and see what I liked my
Did they
voice
did
on.
they give you certain mics to test out?
Guitar Center did because I told them, and this is what I would like to do. This is what I'm trying to do. I need to test out different mics. So they gave me everything from several condenser mics to a couple of shotgun mics, and they let you test it out there. And they still do that to
Okay.
this day.
So what mics did you like? What mic did you get?
I ended up getting it was an AT 2050, an
Okay,
audio
good mic.
technica. Yeah, yeah. I ended up doing that, and it was within my price range. It was about $300,
Yeah.
at the time. Booked some national commercials on that AT 2050 in my closet, and nobody would have ever known.
Yeah.
It was really good, had a good sound, loved it, loved it, loved it. Graduated to a TLM 103.
Oh, there you go.
But I recently, and I would say within the last 2 years, got a custom made booth from Miss Shelly Avellino. It
Ah,
was, yeah, I inherited her and her husband made it, and she is transitioning out of voiceover. And so I was gifted it from some voiceover angels.
wow.
but where it would fit, I had to move it to a different location in my house. And that made all the difference in the world
Was
because there's
right
no
in the middle
space.
of the living room.
Yeah, right. It's an upstairs
Oh, come in,
bedroom.
just step around my booth here, and
Y'all be fine. Go over there and eat dinner.
yeah.
But because of that, the condenser wasn't working. I mean, I could hear the flatulence of a mosquito on that dang 103. It was something else. So I was like, okay, I think I want to try a shotgun mic so I'm not picking up as much noise in the room. I haven't got my 416 yet, but I've been testing out the AT875R.
Oh yeah, good mic.
Yeah. And it's a good mic.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I tested that out. So now the 416 is on the way, baby. I'm going to have to get a
All
shotgun
right.
mic.
Well,
Yeah.
they're $900 every day,
Well, there you go. I
and
can do it.
every now and then they're a little bit less. Hey, listen, I want to get some questions in here,
Mhm.
and let's see, oh, and some hellos. Oh, there's Terry Briscoe, the one and only Trekina White. Hey there, Star. Hey, the ADFA fam. You got some love, Atomic Mary, Bay Area love right here. Uh,
Oh my God.
oh, tell me the
We,
story. Who's
we
that?
did some of your classes together at Voice One.
Ah, fantastic, fantastic.
Yes.
Let's see. We've got TJ, I think, who helped us out. Hi, Trakina and Dave. So glad to see a fellow Bay Area voice actor.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what? There are so many fine voice actors up in the Bay Area, actors in general in the Bay Area.
Mhm.
Uh, I remember before I came down here, it's a smaller pond.
Mhm.
There were a few big fish, and I felt like I needed to maybe just become a middle-sized fish in a bigger pond. Uh, but there's a lot of great talent there. Just
Yeah,
a lot of great talent there.
yeah.
Had a couple other things. Oh, Terry Briscoe, I think we answered this. Trakina, do you still take group coaching sessions now to stay fresh?
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
Because the training never stops, right? So there are times where I might jump on some group sessions like Burgers Reels. I love working out with Malik because she is so like, just come as you are.
Yeah.
And you are enough no matter how you are. So that, but I have graduated to doing some one-on-one things. Like I recently voiced this clown. She's like a black Harley Quinn. She got these Afro puffs. She's in the Smite video game,
Ah,
and um, and she's so manic, and she was amazing and so much fun to do. And I got some one-on-one coaching with Christina Malizia. Who
who
else
was
have I?
wonderful because she just rules in animation.
Oh my God. I think she has like 8 animated series out like right now on different platforms, whether it's Cartoon Network or whether it's on Netflix or what have you. She is fantastic. So
And a
her
great coach, and they don't always go hand in hand.
You're right, because it's rare that you can find somebody who is not only an amazing voice talent, but also an amazing coach equally as well.
So
Because
now let me ask you this: what did you have to learn to take that part? What did she teach you that helped you book that?
she taught me how to, because since the person was so manic, she was like, first she had me watch some things. She had me watch The Joker. I had never seen The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix because I was like, oh, it's so dark. I don't want to watch, sort of thing. But she had me watch that and study his mannerisms and, the whole backstory. And, there was things where if he was going crazy and he'd be hyper ventilating and trying to get it out and how you could be so crazy and go up here, but then you could get really, really quiet
Yeah.
and come down here and how it can be just as scary and intimidating when you're losing your quiet voice.
Yes.
You don't have to be way up here all of the time. She just was phenomenal. She was phenomenal. And it's funny because I have a, Trey
Oh yeah.
Mosley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me and Trey are tight. That is my brother. And him and I talk a couple of times a week. And he told me, you know what, until you done with this dark phase, I don't think I'm gonna talk to you for at least a week.
Well, we voice actors, we have to be able to turn it on and turn it off drop of a hat. Um, you know what? A lot of actors are method actors, and if they're going to get into a character, they're going to stay in that character for day after day after day after day and drive everybody in their life nuts. Um, I always thought that wasn't fair. I was just, we have to now and now and now and now. And we have to also read words on a page as opposed to memorizing the script. Our movement is limited, so we have to bring a lot that we create up
Yeah.
here. Yeah. And I know that was fun. I know
It
that was
was
fun.
so much fun and such a departure for who I am because I feel like I'm so silly and crazy and zany, all the time. So to be somebody who was a little darker, but
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
zany.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be
Well,
somebody who,
but you have a wide range. I was looking at your bio and talking about being the calm mom, being the gal pal.
Mhm, mhm.
All the what? How was it you developed such a good range?
I think life. You know how our elders would always say, just keep on living. Just keep on living. And that is the truth. Just like I said, having that corporate background, I've worked in both the private sector and the public sector, working at AT&T and T and working for the city of Pittsburgh in the Section 8 office. So just seeing people day in and day out, drawing on people in my own family, from my mother to my grandmother to my cousins to all of that, just life in general. And it helps me with, I could be doing commercials. And let's say, like, I cannot stand calamari. I don't like calamari. And I might have a commercial that is talking about this calamari that they have over at Red Lobster. So I insert, but I love shrimp. So I insert shrimp for the calamari, and then it resonates with me. So finding
Substitution. Especially in commercials, we have to learn how to substitute because, and a lot of people don't, and they'll wonder why they're not booking. And you have to realize that whatever's going on up here, if you don't address it, if you got like, I really don't like that car, but I'm going to do that car commercial. I'm going to have this phony little smile on, but I really don't like this car. And that's what people hear. They might not know that's exactly what they're hearing.
yeah,
Uh, so have the conversation with yourself. I give myself permission to sell this product that I wouldn't use because this is what I do. And when I say that word, I'm going to be thinking this word of this thing that I really like. Yeah,
absolutely. It
absolutely.
helps me so much. It really, really helps me book. So,
So, what are the areas you haven't worked in that you'd like to work in, or maybe you have worked in but you'd like to work more?
let's see. Promos. I booked my first promo this year. It's for Cartoon Network. It's for a show called Jessica's Big Little World. I am so excited about it because she is this cute little chocolate brown girl with her afro puffs going about her day. And I would have loved to seen this character when I was growing up. They sing some song called Bonnet Brush Flush, and it's about her going to bed at night, putting on her satin bonnet, brushing her teeth, and then going potty. And they be all bonnet, brush, flush, bonnet, brush. But it's just the cutest thing because representation, and
Yeah.
the representation matters. And so I get to share that with all of the little girls in my life and the little girl inside me. And so that's why I think I booked it, because I was so excited when I was reading the words for the promo. I was like, oh my God, Jessica may look like a little kid, but she's not going to be a little kid for long. Look at Jessica, Jessica's big little world. And it must have just came through. And so now I'm the promo voice for her show.
Ooh,
And
there you go. Excellent. Well,
yes,
let me
for
say this. If you're interested in doing more promos, I'm just going to say Joe Cipriano. Um, Joe has a new way of teaching out. It's a class, um, and people are working together, but they're doing it individually in their own time.
Mm.
Uh, and you can go through his workshop in 6 to 8 weeks or so. And it looks great. I was talking to him on the phone about it this weekend. But check it out. Just take a look at it.
I
Uh,
will definitely check it out. I've worked with Richard Redfield.
Richard's great as well.
Yeah, I've worked with him, and he's so funny because he always looks like he's in the Bahamas somewhere. He always has his sunglasses on, and there's waterfalls and greenery in the in the
Well,
back.
he's either some place really cool or he's got a great backdrop for his Zoom.
He's very
I use space as the backdrop for mine, but he's also very good. Richard's better known not just for promos, but for drama promos, where you're
mm,
trying to get across the drama of that program.
mm.
Let's see. I want to
You
get
coach promos too, though, don't you?
what's that? Oh
You
yeah,
coach promos as well.
I do coach promos. You know, I like to spread it around. I often tell people, listen, you should work with a variety of people.
Mhm,
Um, Sometimes not because this one's better than that one, but sometimes who we talk to, we understand the language of this person better than that person. We
mhm,
all, as a coach, you're always trying to figure out new ways to get across the message.
mhm.
And sometimes you hear it better from one person than another.
Yeah,
But yes,
absolutely.
I do coach promos too.
Okay.
Let's see. Want to get to a couple more questions. This from your friend Atomic Mari. What are the biggest changes you anticipate happening in the industry in the next couple of years, and what should actors do to stay ahead of those changes? Very good question.
That is a very good question. The first thing that came to mind is AI.
Yeah,
We've been going through so much with AI, and shout out to Nava because they have been fighting the good fight for us, all of us voice actors, the No Fakes Act, trying to make sure that we aren't out there battling with our digital selves. Um, going up against our digital selves and not being able to do so. So making sure that we are protecting our voices, um, protecting ourselves with AI. And, we can partner with it because I know some people who are partnering with it and who are leveraging their voices, but as long as it's done responsibly.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I think the bigger fear is not so much worrying about competing with yourself, but that actually is a concern.
Hmm.
But competing with voices that have been stolen, uh,
Hmm.
or undercut, or what the industry would like to do, the producer ownership class
Hmm.
would love to. Okay, we've got these voices. We'll never have to pay you again,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's the thing we have to look out for. But Nava, this is their second trip. They just got back from Washington D.C. again, speaking to
Hmm.
congressmen and senators and their staff about protections. We
Yeah.
have to put these protections into law.
Yeah.
Just because that was such a good question the first time, she had one right behind. Atomic Mario once again. Also, Dave, I didn't participate, but audited your workshop at the Voice Actors Studio in Las Vegas recently. I learned a lot from listening. Thank you. Mari, you are quite welcome. And let's see. Layla Rashida, what advice would you offer to someone breaking into voiceover? Trekina, what would
Is my niece. Hey, Layla.
She was just trying to get in a good question. She didn't want you to let it be known that's your niece.
That's my niece. Hey, baby. You know I'm going to say something. Someone breaking into voiceover. That is a good question because I feel like it has changed so much in the last few years. Do your research. Absolutely do your research. Vet your coaches, vet who, and make sure that they are somebody who's working in the industry, instead of just, hey, you can come out of here and in the next 60 days you'll be making $100,000 in the so vetting your coaches, vetting your demo producers, going out there and getting all of your training and stuff in, and making sure that those people have your best interest at heart before you are putting together your demo reels and getting out there shopping for yourself, and how look at the latest trends and seeing how you stay relevant. All of those things, I think, go into helping somebody getting into voiceover.
All right, got another one here. Xavier Solar. Do you have
Ah,
a certain
exactly.
video game or cartoon that you'd give your left arm to be a part of?
I'd give my left arm to be a part of cartoons. Oh my God, who doesn't want to be on a Pixar or Disney? Speaking of that, I recently went to Afro Animation. It was in your backyard in Burbank.
Yeah.
And
I was out of town doing something else.
is that why you weren't
That's
there?
why I wasn't there. I was gonna go, but
Other
well,
commitment.
I was teaching in Las Vegas.
Oh, where she just said she audited your
Yeah,
class.
yeah,
Where she just
yeah.
said
I
that.
wanted to go to that. Now, um, from what I saw,
Mhm.
there weren't a lot of voice actors there. It was mostly producers, animators. Am I correct?
You are absolutely correct. Okay, it's still in its infancy. They called it 4.0 because it was its fourth iteration of it, but it was born in COVID. So the last 2 years has only been the first time that they've done face to face. So this was their only second time face to face. But the sponsorship they had there, they had Pixar, they had Disney, they had Netflix, they had Paramount. And you learned how something came to be, an animated show came to be, from the rootum to the tootum. I mean, from a writer, illustrators, all of the different composers, all of the different parts. In a way, it was good because you got to network with all of those people, the people who were doing the casting, the people who were doing the writing, all of that storyboarding. So that part was good. But they do need to beef up their voice acting
Yeah.
component. And what was great about that is they were so open, because us voice actors that were there voiced that to them, and they took that feedback and they were like, next year we're going to make sure that we do that. Can we partner with some of you to make sure that we have accurate representation for voice actors? The voice actors that were there, Gary Anthony Williams was there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he gave a excellent talk. He was part of a panel, and he gave an excellent talk about voice acting and how to get into it and what you do. Eric Balza was there.
Oh,
Yeah, Eric Balza was
Mr.
there.
Cartoon.
Mr. Cartoon, he was up there doing all kinds of Daffy Ducks, and he
There's
was so.
somebody who as a kid did all those cartoon voices and grew up and turned it into a huge career.
And isn't that a beautiful thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah,
Beautiful.
next year I want to go to that. I had looked into it and realized, oh, well, I can't go. Uh, and it felt like it was kind of in its infancy
Yeah,
because who was there, who was represented speaking and panels wasn't voice actors, wasn't directors talking to voice actors or casting people talking to voice actors. Uh, so I'm glad that you and other voice actors were there to let them know, hey, hey, we're here. You know,
yeah.
include us.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was such a beautiful thing to see so many Black and brown people in the room, so many creatives that I like to say were dancing in their passion. Um, People, like I said, they had this storyboard thing right there for illustrators, and they had to draw something in an hour, and the top three people won like all this amazing stuff that illustrators like to use that I don't use because that's not my jam. But they just had so much stuff there, and it was nice to see the process from beginning to end, and nice to talk to those people. So I was able to network with some people, who I think that I'll be able to work with in the future. So it was beneficial, but it's not like voiceover Atlanta where it's nothing but VO folks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all about us there.
Yes.
All
Yes,
right, let me
absolutely.
get a couple other questions in here and comments. Terry Briscoe backing me up. Joe's class is so insightful. It is. Um, Haviland Maxwell, I like hearing the language of different coaches. Great point. Oh, that was, yeah, okay. Marian and Toro, yes, vet those coaches.
Hey, sis. You know what I love about our community is it is a community.
Yes.
There's so many people who want to see you succeed and do well. I went to VO Atlanta recently and moderated my first panel, and our panel was it was the women's power panel. Shout out to all the queens who was on the panel. It was Issa Lopez, it was Vanessa James, it was Keisha Monk, it was Karen Gilfrey, and we sat there and talked about the importance of our sisterhood, but the importance of the community in general, and how you don't have to fail in order for me to win, how we can celebrate each other's successes and root each other on. We get together sometimes when we are in the valleys, and we celebrate each other when we are in our peaks. There's times when I can't do a job, but guess what? Issa or Vanessa or Keisha might be available so they can do the job. How much we just help each other. And I love that
No,
about
that's
this
so true. And I'm going to say this, the voiceover community has been like that since I started working in LA in 1990.
community.
One of my very first jobs, I was one of the voices of the Disney Channel. And
Mm,
they had other voices that were still working there. One was Gary Bishop, who had been the voice,
mm,
um, the soul voice.
mm,
But they brought me in to do certain things and later on some other people. And uh, Jerry just welcomed me with open arms. He's no longer with us. He's gone on to that better place.
mhm, mhm,
But he was so
mhm,
kind. He
mhm,
gave me so much advice. He invited me to his home and for dinner. And that is the kind of thing that I have seen in voiceover all along. Um, Don LaFontaine would
mhm,
take people in his limousine to see how he did what he did.
mhm.
Um, uh, I felt like I was a great friend of his. I know I wasn't his best friend, but somehow
Mhm.
it made you feel like you were his best friend. And he
Oh,
was just an open, he knew he was the king, but he'd never tried to lord it over anyone. And he was so helpful. And
mhm.
I think people like that have continued just what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Um, that when we show up at the conventions, which we need these days because everybody's working in their home studios, we used to see each other at our agents and at studios we were working in. But when we get together, we are happy to see each other. We truly
yeah,
do celebrate each other's work. And I
yeah.
don't think that always happens in other areas of entertainment.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, I've made the drive from the Bay Area up to Burbank for a callback audition and was so grateful that somebody let me sleep on their couch. Before I had to make that drive back, there were plenty of times that I made the drive from the Bay Area up there. Now I take a plane, but there was plenty of times where I did that, and I would have people ask me, "Was it worth it to be in the room just for 20 or 30 minutes for a video game callback or something like that?" And I said, "Absolutely, it was
Yeah.
because it means that my name is at the table."
Our real job is to audition.
Yeah.
I really believe that. Our job is to audition. And then when they hire us, they pay us to have fun.
Mhm.
But your job is to audition for as many things that you're right for, make yourself better, and wider, so you can do more things. But audition, audition, audition. I really believe
Mhm.
that often when we're new,
Mhm.
it's just like a record you heard for the first time. You went, oh, okay, it's kind of. But about the fifth time you heard it, oh yeah, I got it now.
Mhm, I'm in the groove
And then
now.
I think the industry often hears us like that. The first few times we're auditioning, um, maybe we're not getting that love.
Hmm.
But if you're good, if you're consistent, if you keep showing up, sooner or later, the doors are going to open and you won't be denied.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what's the
Yes.
best? What's the best piece of advice you ever got for your voiceover career?
The best piece of advice, just to be me. I remember one person said when they stopped caring so much, thinking that they had to have that perfect sound, what we think that they want to hear on commercials, what we think that they want to hear on promos or what have you, that's when the real you is able to come out. And when the real you comes out, there's nothing like it because it's so authentic and it's so real. And that's what people want to hear. Like you said, if the rent's due, they can hear that the rent is due in your voice. You know what I mean? But if you're just being real, if you're just talking about what you need to do, that award that I won for the commercial, best female commercial thing, it was a love letter to moms. And because I am a mom, I think that's why, yay, that's my hard win, that's my hard win. But because I am a mom, because it was talking to this mom who was completely overwhelmed. She had just got back from work. She was coming in to be with her baby, but it was saying to the moms, you are enough. And don't feel like because you feel like you're got all these balls up in the air, but and you feel like I'm dropping them and I'm not doing everything perfectly and this and that, but there's beauty in the chaos. And the fact that you have so much love for your family and want to raise this human being to the best of your ability, you are doing enough and you're doing better than you know. And that was something that was able to resonate with me. And that's why I booked the job. And I know that's why I won the award.
Yeah, it's amazing how when you get to the you, and
Hmm.
everybody has something special. We often don't realize it's special because we're with ourselves every day and we're hearing all those other wonderful things out there and we think, "Oh, we need to be that to
Yeah.
arrive at that place." But there's something unique and wonderful about everybody who's doing this. And if you'll only allow yourself to tap into that real you, um, especially now, because that's what people are looking for,
Hmm.
genuineness. I
Hmm.
often tell people, look, record yourself in your natural habitat. When you're
Hmm.
talking with your friends, when you're talking with your significant other, if you're talking to your kids, you're talking to your boss, somebody's calling you on the phone trying to sell you stuff. Um,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter what it is. Hear what you sound like when you really are just being you,
Yes.
and start bringing that to the table, because a lot of times I think we get a script and we're trying to be somebody else. And
Yeah.
I can't find. What if you were just you?
Hmm.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. And I'm guilty of it because there's times when I'll get a script and I'll do it and I'll be like, that don't even sound like me. I don't believe me.
We all do it's I promise you it's a fight you're always going to have.
Hmm.
And sometimes if you're that person that has developed a certain style that was working, but now
Hmm.
it's not working, so now how do I get out of that style? I find that with a lot of folks who come out of radio and they've got that thing and they're talking to you like this, and it was
Yeah.
working on radio, but when you come to voiceover it doesn't work, even though you have full command of all the words, but
Yeah.
we don't believe that guy. Got a
Yeah.
couple, got a couple more questions here. Let's see. How many classes in coaching, or how many classes and how much coaching did you all do before putting together your? How did you know you were ready to put your voice out there? That's a good question. How long had you been in it before you put your reel out?
Well, my very first one, I had coached with that man every day for 2 months before we did that. But I'll say this, if you have a good voiceover coach, they're going to let you know when you're ready. They will tell you when you're not ready, and they will tell you when you are ready. So that's why the vetting of the coaches is so important, and making sure that you have someone, like you said, that you speak that language with, that really, really gets you and wants you to be able to put your best foot forward. Your coach will tell you. And I don't think it's cookie cutter. I don't think that this person can do it in 2 months and this person can do it in 2 years. It just depends on when you're ready, the work that you're putting in, and when you and that coach feel like, okay, it's time.
Excellent advice. Now, what do you want to see in your career? What would you love to have happen between now and a year from now?
Now and a year from now, I would love to get into more promo work, as we talked about. So I'm going to check out that class that you were saying. I've been liking the VOG stuff, being so close to Silicon Valley. I did get to do like the Google I/O stuff, the Squarespace stuff, and all of that. So that was so
And
much
for
fun.
those who might not know VOG, Voice of God, that's the voice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome so and so. That kind of thing that you hear on award shows. And there's a lot of corporate work that may not air. But when they're having their corporate convention, their big corporate meetings, and they're introducing the CEOs and CFOs and top salespeople and so forth, those gigs pay pretty well.
Oh, they got money. That's why I'm like, ooh, I'm so glad I'm next to Silicon Valley. And it was funny because Stars was like, well, you're going to have to drive and be on site. And the drive is like an hour and 45 minutes. And, we have some people complaining. And I'm like, are you serious? They're complaining about having to drive to go get that money.
Yeah.
I will go out there.
Especially we typically don't have to drive every day. I had a crazy week last week. I had 3 gigs out one day, the next day, the next day. That's rare. Usually it's all right here.
Yeah.
But and we're kind of spoiled, I think, sometimes to that. And when we do go out, it's you're going someplace for an hour, maybe 3 or 4 hours, and it's not backbreaking work.
It's not. It's my field trip. I call it my field trip.
There you go. There you go. So, voice of God work. What else?
Voice of God work and animation. I love, 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 love animation. I've done some work on Marvel Spidey and His Amazing Friends. On Netflix, I'm on a show called Ridley Jones. And I play the dinosaur, the Mama Stegosaurus on Ridley Jones, and it was so much fun.
Oh
Um,
boy, did that come
so
through? Did that come through stars?
Ridley Jones came through Portia Scott.
Oh, there you go. Go on,
Yeah.
Portia.
Yeah, go Portia. Go Portia. Yeah, coast to coast. And Spidey came through coast to coast as well.
Ah, I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to talk to Portia. We are
yeah.
really good friends, and I often teach classes for her, but she doesn't represent me. Well, no, I'm gonna keep my agent. I'm doing just fine.
You seem to be doing very well. You
I'm
do
doing.
very well for yourself.
I'm doing just fine. So,
But yeah, animation work, I would love to get into more marriage. So I'm doing some coaching, so that I could do that. But yeah, I think that's my jam. That'll probably be the very next reel that I get out there.
yeah, let me ask you this: you're having some success now. You're on the move up. Are people approaching you about coaching them?
Yes. And it's shocking to me. I'm like, for real? You want me to coach you? Or you want me to be your mentor? But I really think that's a specific skill set that you have to have that, like we said earlier, not everybody has. And I don't know if I could teach you how to do what I do. I can cheerlead you on, I could root you on, I could, do all of that. But because there's so much stuff that you do on the fly. How many times have they said, I'd like you to do an ABC line of this read, and you come up with something just off the cuff, and you had no idea that you had that? There's certain things that you can't teach. And so while I would love to be able to be your mentor and your cheerleader, I don't know if I got the skill set to be your coach
You
yet.
know what? We'll revisit this in a few years.
Okay.
And I bet in a few years you'll be that person that would be a good coach. Just based on our conversation right now, I think you have that kind of sensitivity and understanding of
Mm.
what it is that we do. So,
That's so sweet of you to say. Thank
yeah.
you.
Wowie zowie, Trekina White, ladies and gentlemen. You were just delightful to have.
Oh, I had so much fun.
Yeah, yeah. Bay Area, my
Bay
old
Area.
stomping grounds. I don't know why I thought you were. I don't
Bay
know why I thought you
Area.
were from Atlanta.
I have no idea why.
Bay Area, baby. Well, listen, you got kids to feed.
Them kids is grown. They're not here.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Them babies is grown now. They just will always be my babies.
That's true. My
Yeah,
mama's gone, but she was still my mama.
exactly.
You know, no matter how old I got, that's mom. That's my dad.
Exactly. And you
Yeah,
have that certain level of respect.
that's right. That's right.
Mm.
Well, listen, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go do my day. Trakina, it has been wonderful. You are a delight. I'm going to wish you continued success, but guess what? I don't think you need my luck. I think you are going to do just fine. And if there's anything I can do to help you, don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay. I'm going to take you up on that.
All right.
All right.
Trekina White, everybody. Bravo, bravo, bravo. A reminder, of course, this and all the other Ask Dave Fennoy anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. You can stop by 24/7, 365 to see, hear all of it. Please like and subscribe if you're interested in coaching with me, davefennoy.com. You can click on the Study VO tab and book yourself. And with that, I'm going to give my regular advice. Book something.